Hi, Amber. Thank you so much for meeting with me today.
Of course, Katie.
I want to first of all express my gratitude to you for coming in today and doing this with me. Um, First of all, we met a couple weeks ago and filled out some intake paperwork.
Mhm.
I know it's been probably a while, so I wanted to touch base with you about kind of it wasn't a goal that we set, but we had talked about increasing fruit and vegetable intake. Have you thought about that or started doing that at all since we chatted?
I have thought about it, but I haven't done it yet.
Okay, that's perfectly fine.
Okay.
And we didn't even set goals last time. It was really just a preliminary conversation starting to decide what we were going to talk about today.
Yeah.
So today we will review these documents since it's been a while. And then I want to make sure that you're comfortable changing any of your answers that you originally gave, because we do want to make sure that we set goals today that are relevant to your health today and to your needs today. If you, let's see, before we begin, I would love to share my goal for our meeting. This is a collaborative process, so I want to make sure that any goals we set are completely driven by your needs and your lifestyle, and make sure that you are able to stick to them. And if you find that in a couple days or a couple weeks they're not working for you, we can always meet again and chat about those and make some modifications.
Okay, perfect. Sounds great.
Okay, excellent. Let's see. So we'll start by just reviewing the My Wellness Vision. I think when we initially met, we went through this one pretty quickly.
Yes.
So I've highlighted kind of the important pieces here. First of all, what elements of your health and well-being do you want to improve?
So I feel like I'm tired all the time, and I feel like could be from the food that I'm eating. Also, weight management is one of my goals that I want to work on, and so there's obviously a couple of things that can use some tweaking, so I'm open to options from you as well.
Okay, sounds excellent. So you want to work on your energy levels and maybe work on a little bit of weight loss?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. And why is now the time when you want to work on those goals?
Well, as you know, I started a medicine called Ozempic, and I think rather than relying on the medication, I need to also make some lifestyle choices. I was supposed to be contacted by a dietitian at the hospital, but that never happened. So, yeah, so you would be a great resource for me.
Okay, excellent. Well, I am sorry to hear that the dietitian never reached out to you. That's very odd. Have you had a chance to call their office or?
No, I've heard that they're pretty busy. But my primary care was supposed to follow up with them as well. But, they're busy too.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm glad you're here, and hopefully we can come up with some ideas to help you work through that new lifestyle change. So as we start to talk about making these changes, I'm curious what comes up for you. What kind of feelings come up for you? What about motivation? Are you feeling motivated right now?
I'm in the contemplation phase.
Okay.
Yeah, so as it gets warmer and me going outside, trying to fit in clothes and be active and having the energies, pretty important going forward. So I just need a little push from you, Katie.
Okay. Sounds excellent.
Yeah.
I can do that. All right. So you're feeling like you're thinking about it. You haven't quite made any changes yet, right? Okay. But feeling ready.
Absolutely.
Great. Let's see. So do you have any ideas currently about how you can begin to increase your energy levels using nutrition?
Obviously, fresh fruits and vegetables. I have a really bad habit of when I get home, I don't eat. And then it gets to be too late for dinner. I think I'm probably eating too close to bedtime too.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think meal prepping would also be very helpful as well. But I'm too tired and been too lazy to do those things.
That's all right. Okay. So you're feeling like you need to add some meal prepping to your life so that you can more easily eat right when you get home and you don't have to put in the extra energy into it.
And it's a challenge too with Zachary not wanting to eat the same things, and when I cook, because I've tricked him so many times. He has to say no funny business.
Oh, no. Okay.
So it has been a challenge kind of cooking for two people too.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
Anyway, this is my journey, not his.
Okay, I love that. Sounds good. So your partner and you usually eat the same thing for dinner.
Yes.
Okay. And do you do a majority of the food prep, or does he do some?
I wouldn't call it food prep. Everything that he uses is out of a can.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So I mean, if
Got
you
it.
call opening a can and dumping it as meal prep, then
Yep.
he's good
Okay.
on that.
All right.
Yep. When
Go ahead.
yeah, when I do like some meal prepping, it's fresh vegetables, fresh fruit. I don't like canned things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anything processed, I try to stay away from. Maybe sauces or something I'll add, but
Mm-hmm.
I like the taste of fresh way better than anything canned.
Yeah. And are you pretty comfortable with cooking?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great.
I have a few flops because I have a hard time following recipes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I can cook like my mom, and it does not turn out.
Yeah.
Yep, it does not turn out.
Okay. Are you feeling like you want to increase your skills in the kitchen, or do you think you're competent enough?
Yeah, 100%.
In that? Okay. So there are, of course, online programs where you can just take a couple online cooking classes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely. So we can explore that a little bit.
Okay.
And see if there's something that sounds good.
One thing when we moved here, we were actually looking for like a cooking class together around here. So that would be a great resource.
Yeah. In fact, down at the co-op, they sometimes do cooking classes.
Really?
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll talk about that a little bit more later.
All right.
That'd be great. I was curious how often Zachary cooks, like weekends, weekdays.
Usually 2 or 3 times a week, but when he cooks, it's like a large portion, so that way he can have something for lunch too. Okay. So I will say when he cooks, like he made his chicken mac and cheese, which is delightful, but totally all processed. Yeah. He eats a lot of it for lunch, and so I try to eat some of it, not big portions, of course, but then there's the caveat, if I don't eat it, then he gets his feelings hurt too.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And so it sounds like he does enjoy cooking from a can somewhat often, so he needs to hold on to that. Do you think in those situations you could contribute to the meal at all? Maybe do something on the side and add to it?
I do salads. It's just a matter of prepping them. I have spinach and tomatoes in the refrigerator right now.
Perfect.
Yeah, and I made some tuna salad yesterday.
All right.
So, yeah.
Okay.
I do some things.
Okay. So you're already kind of doing that. You're adding to the meal. You have your ingredients in the fridge. Okay. That's very helpful. So at this point, I would love to kind of go through a typical day of eating with you. It's not quite a 24-hour recall, but if you want to just go through from the very beginning, you get up in the morning, and then what?
So I get up in the morning, for example, I'll use today, just because I can remember.
Yeah.
So a little container, like a 4-ounce, whatever it is, at work container of the cottage cheese, and I had some cut up fruit. I got a string cheese, but I didn't eat it yet. And then I had the like turkey and mashed potatoes, but it had gravy on it, but broccoli. Okay. And then I'm on prednisone, so I'm super hungry. So then I got a little thing of vegetable soup. Yeah. And when I go home for dinner, I'll probably try and have a little bit of a snack, possibly. I have some popcorn I keep on hand. Okay. But I think the leftover mac and cheese is probably going to be my dinner.
Okay.
Yeah, which is pretty heavy.
Okay. And you already are used to adding things to your meal, so
yes,
you'll maybe add something to that mac and cheese.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cut up some of the spinach and stuff.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Say hi.
Okay, excellent. So, and you had mentioned that you sometimes eat before bed. So
yes,
what does that look like?
Gosh, I'm so embarrassed to admit this.
No,
Like,
don't be embarrassed.
Last night I had, we also had spaghetti, so obviously I love pasta.
Mhm.
And I made a little spaghetti sandwich, and it was like 9 o'clock.
Okay. So what spurred that on? Were you hungry or were you just feeling snacky?
Snacky, and I had some wine and I got the munchies.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Needed to feed that, and I started prednisone yesterday.
Right, you mentioned you're extra hungry.
But I shouldn't blame the medication because I've done that before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're talking about improving your energy levels, and it sounds like throughout the day you are having plenty of food. You feel like you're eating when you're hungry. You're having normal meal times. So at what point in the day can you imagine maybe adding more fruits or vegetables?
Probably in the afternoon, like 3 or 4.
Okay. Is that after lunchtime? Okay.
Typically eat lunch around 11.
Okay, so kind of an earlier lunchtime, and then you'll have a snack. And at that point, you feel like you could add something fresh. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And being at work, I actually eat a lot healthier when I'm at work than what I do at home. But I feel like eating fruits and vegetables and then maybe having a little bit of protein would kind of give me more energy. So that way when I don't get home, I don't crash and then eat too late. Or don't eat at all, because I've done that before too.
Right. That's great. Yeah, I'm glad that you're adding that protein in so that you weren't binging when you get home or... All right, great. So I do want to ask you a quick series of questions. Some of these might feel a little redundant, so I apologize, but this is intended to help me kind of assess our next steps. So I guess before I dive into that, I do want to ask you, well, let's carry on with this. How many cups of fruits and vegetables would you say you eat per day? And a cup is about the size of your fist.
I'm lucky if I get 1 cup of fruit.
Okay.
And then probably 2 servings of vegetables.
Okay. And let's see. How long have you consistently consumed, let's say, 3 cups of fruits and vegetables per day?
Probably in the last 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of something you've been working on. Okay.
Yeah.
And in the past 6 months, have you tried to increase your intake? Yes, you have, sounds like. Great. And on a scale from 0 to 10, 0 being not confident, 10 being very confident, how confident are you in your ability to increase your intake of fruits and vegetables?
An 8.
An 8, okay. All right, so it sounds like you're already making progress. You're already doing things to help yourself increase your intakes. It's going well, and you want to continue to increase your intakes.
Yes.
Okay. So what changes did you make that seem to be helping?
That's a tough question, Katie.
Is it?
Yeah. It's just being more aware of, how my digestive body actually feels when I do eat fruits and more vegetables, because I've had a previous surgery, and so sometimes going to the bathroom can be a challenge. And so eating more fiber, of course, helps with that. And so, what was the question again?
Oh, what changes did you make that are helping you increase your fruit and vegetable intake?
I think that's it.
Okay, awareness.
That's what I heard, you.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's more awareness about how you feel when you're eating more fruits and vegetables. Okay, all right. So at this point, I would love to talk about some SMART goals that we can set to continue to increase those. It sounds like we've identified a good time for you to increase the intake by including it as an afternoon snack. So with that in mind, first of all, are you comfortable with the idea of SMART goals? I know you set those goals with patients at work,
yes.
Right? Okay. So we'll set a SMART goal, and I also want to just introduce the idea of tiny habits. Have you heard of this concept? Okay. Essentially, you are creating a habit that pairs with a habit that's already in your life. And that's to help you trigger and remember to do that new habit.
Okay.
So you don't have to pair it with an existing habit in this case, but if you feel like that's going to be helpful for remembering or helpful for making it happen every day, then let's work with that.
Okay.
Okay. So we've identified a time that you want to add a fruit or vegetable. What other ideas do you have? What type of fruit or vegetable, or how are you going to make sure that you're eating it at that time?
So something easy. I know when we had like the little cuties at work, I would just easily grab one of those and peel it. You know, things that are already cut up for meal prepping for me are helpful.
Okay.
I like, carrots and cucumbers, those types of little like snacky things.
Okay.
So I can do those. I think my main downfall is probably the weekends. Yeah.
Okay. So why don't we plan on setting a goal for your weekdays since you have a time that works, and then let's also talk about weekends and just see if we can figure out how to help you there at home. So for this first goal, in the afternoon, around what time?
3.
Around 3. How does that align with your schedule at work? Is there like a trigger that'll help you remember?
Well, there's a little bit of downtime, and then I think I get a little bit of not bored, but it's just kind of that walk up to the cafeteria, take a little break, and my coworkers walk up there with me. So whether I eat the snack right then or not, it's still in front of me, so it's visually there.
Okay, excellent. So you have people that are also going up with you to the cafeteria. You're already kind of in a space where you can grab a snack.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And do you want to identify exactly what you're going to grab from the cafeteria? Did I understand that right? You'll grab something from the cafeteria?
Yeah. So typically it's if they have beets, I like beets, the cut up vegetables. I do get suckered in with the pastas because I really do love pasta and it tastes so good, but it's not necessarily the best option.
Do you feel like you could eat both of them? You could always try pairing it if you really feel like you needed extra sustenance.
If I do get pasta, I normally get like string cheese or something.
Okay.
Get carbon and protein. Yeah.
Okay. Well, do the pastas have any vegetables in them typically?
Yes.
They do?
Not a whole lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But some sometimes cucumber, red pepper, olives. So,
So there's a little bit in there.
Yeah.
All
probably at most 2 tablespoons, if that.
Yes.
Yeah, not a whole lot.
It's something.
Something.
Yes. So do you think you would commit to grabbing a fruit or a vegetable, even if you decide to get the pasta?
Yes.
At least to have that in front of you, despite it maybe not sounding the best in that moment?
Yes.
Okay. So that's
10 out of 10.
Excellent. Okay. That sounds like a very doable goal.
Okay.
All right. So that first goal then is that at 3:00 in the afternoon, you're going to walk up to the cafeteria. You'll grab a fruit or a vegetable. You can grab something else if you would like to, but just make sure you grab your fresh fruit or vegetable. And then you can choose to eat it if you're hungry. You can choose not to, but just at least having it there as a reminder hopefully will help you remember to eat it and get that extra serving in.
Okay, I can do that.
Sounds doable? Okay. So our second goal, we're going to try and think of something for you at home to increase fruit or vegetable intake. You seem hesitant.
I'm thinking right now, I have carrot sticks in the refrigerator, and I had hummus, but the hummus went bad, of course, because I didn't eat it right away. But I have a good recipe for hummus. I have all the things.
Okay.
So, and again, it's a matter of not being lazy and just make it.
Okay. All right. Well, let's think about tiny habits, right?
Okay.
When we think about the hummus.
Yeah.
What's an easy time for you to make it? Is there an easy time? Is there?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Probably either right when I get up, or I'm up and motivated to do something.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just really lazy on the weekends.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You work full time.
Yeah.
You can be lazy on the weekends.
I think the best thing would be on Sundays, whenever I'm doing like my Sunday wind down, those types of things. Again, that kind of goes along with meal prepping too throughout the week.
Yeah.
But And just getting the tools out, like a blender, those types of things. Again, the
Mhm.
visual cue
Yes.
of having those out would be helpful too.
Okay. Do you typically do some meal prep on Sunday? Is that like part of your Sunday ritual?
It's usually, if I meal prep, it's usually breakfast.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Because sometimes I have something left over from the weekend. But usually not dinner or lunch, just because at work I know there's healthier food there at work.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So that time that you're definitely going to be in the kitchen, is just part of your habit, is in the morning. And if you have that visual cue there already, like you have your blender out or whatever tools you need, do you think you could commit to making hummus at least next weekend and see if it works? Okay.
I will send you a picture.
Okay, I love that. Perfect.
And I have made it before, and I must say I added too much garlic. And I sat down on the couch next to my boyfriend. He's like, "What is that smell?"
Oh, no. Did it taste good?
It did. And then I felt like a fire-breathing dragon because there's so much garlic, but it's delightful.
Oh, good.
Very good.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Okay, so next time a little less garlic.
Yes, a little less garlic.
Okay.
Yep, I can do that.
Perfect. So it sounds like you have a goal, and do you feel like this should just be your goal for next weekend and then maybe check in?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we want to make sure every weekend we have something figured out for you that you can do to help yourself get that extra fruit, vegetable, in this case bean or bean dip.
Ooh, black bean dip sounds good.
There you go.
Ooh.
There's all sorts of good ideas.
I had that thought in my brain. I have black beans.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We can change it. You can change it, whatever you want to do.
I'll stay tuned.
Okay. I'll wait for the picture.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
But you have your time sorted out. So Sunday morning, you said?
Sometimes Sunday.
Sometime Sunday.
Yes.
Okay. If it's not Sunday, it'll be Saturday morning?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. All right. So either Saturday or Sunday. I'll let you choose. You will make that dip, whichever dip you choose, and you're going to send me a picture.
I can do that.
Okay. Excellent. All right. Well, it sounds like we have our 2 SMART goals figured out. Do you have any questions? Do you have anything else that you want to talk about or explore?
Yeah, at one point you and I mentioned like getting a meal plan for me to put together. If you're still willing to kind of work with me on that.
Yeah.
I used to do, of course I used to do Weight Watchers, and I had good success with that, with weight loss. And I used to do, I think it's MyFitnessPal, and so just being more aware of the things that I'm eating, because one of the things we do tell our patients is a food diary, right?
Exactly.
Writing things down, looking at your servings. So I think it's definitely time for me to assess, what I need in my diet, and less pasta.
Less pasta.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or, I do like red lentil pasta, those types of things. Are they any better?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You absolutely get more protein from the lentil, and there's also chickpea that's really good. So yeah, there are a couple different options that have higher protein, and some have higher fiber. Yeah, definitely something to look at. There's another app. So MyFitnessPal is great. They focus a lot on macros. There's another app called Chronometer. Have you heard of this? It also is very similar. You enter all of your information. It has a ton of different brands if you're entering like a pasta, for example. But it focuses a lot on micronutrients too. So it gives you a ton of information, and you can really see like very easily all of the visuals. Like, okay, I need to get a little bit more protein, or in the mornings I'm getting lots of protein and not quite enough fat, or whatever it is, right? So it can break it down by the different meals. It can break it down by the day, however you want to look at that information.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll give you that, and it's free, which is great too.
I
know.
Yeah. Last time I tried to download MyFitnessPal, it's like I didn't get past the paying for the month or something like that. So what is it called again? Chronometer.
Yeah, I'll write it down for you.
Okay, perfect.
You can make yourself a little account and try using that. And we can also talk about making a meal plan for you and kind of getting that all set up too.
Sounds good.
All right. Excellent. Well, we have your 2 goals for this week. All right.
Yes.
Excellent. And thank you so much again for being my mock client. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Please let me know if you have any questions or have any challenges that come up with the goals. And that's it.
Okay.
All right.